Watch this.
It's been the center of protests for months, but cameras have never been allowed inside. Tonight, we take you inside Portland's ICE facility for a first exclusive look. Thousands of license plates are scanned daily and fed into police databases, but a new report shows U.S. Border Patrol has been accessing the data, even in places where agencies never gave permission. Salmon are running, and lucky anglers aren't the only ones celebrating. Surplus fish are feeding families, thanks to volunteers and local students. For the first time, we're getting a closer look at the building in Portland, Oregon, where troops are being told they'll defend if they're deployed, and what's happening there. After repeated requests, ICE allowed reporter Kyle Abashi from our sister station in Portland inside its waterfront facility. We should note, access and what could be filmed was limited. With that context, here's Kyle.
The ICE facility in Portland has been the epicenter of protests. For months, a small group of demonstrators has gathered outside, sometimes clashing with federal officers assigned to protect it. Previously, local media had not been given access, but after repeated requests, we were allowed inside. Federal officers used an upper floor window to access the roof. Here they watch demonstrators below, and in the past have used this position to fire pepper balls and other crowd-controlled devices. Here on the roof of the building, you can see they've set up plywood to block and protect some of the windows. Also, they've got floodlights set up to shine a brighter light on the crowd below. Several floors up on the top of the building, there are more temporary floodlights. The ICE building sits in Portland's south waterfront, neighboring sleek high-rise apartments and condos. Inside, the facility is used as an office and processing center for people accused of immigration violations. No one was available to go on camera or provide any quotes, but I was able to sit down for more than a half an hour with local representatives from ICE and ask questions. One topic, schools. Starting this week, local officials said they've told ICE officers to no longer stage or meet up in school parking lots after tensions in the community. They say generally they don't make arrests on school grounds. When asked why ICE officers wear masks, officials explained it's to prevent doxing. ICE officials also discussed recent cases of neighbors trying to block federal agents with their cars, including this situation in Hillsborough last week. Federal agents admit it's raised concern and forced ICE to rethink tactics, although no specifics were given. Officials note if someone interferes with an operation, it can be criminal and will be prosecuted. As for security, local officials note it's not ICE officers protecting the building. It's the Federal Protective Service and other sub-agencies. Local ICE representatives say they're still able to do their job without much interruption and admit there's been a recent surge in immigration enforcement activity in Oregon, although could not provide specifics or data.
New data shows that federal agencies, including U.S. Border Patrol, has been accessing license plate readers in Washington state. There's concern that the feds are using the data collected by local police agencies for immigration roundup operations. And investigator Chris Ingalls from our sister station in Seattle has a look at what this appears to be violating in Washington state law.
You may not even notice them, but they're watching all day, every day. These are Flock brand cameras, an automated license plate reader. Here in Auburn, there are 20 of them mounted along the busiest streets.
We started Flock to eliminate nonviolent crime.
When police officers input a license plate number or make and model of a car, these camera systems spit out information and alerts if the vehicle passes by. Police say Flock is invaluable for finding stolen cars, tracking criminal suspects, and solving crimes. But look who's been tapping into Auburn's Flock system, according to the police department's own records. U.S. Border Patrol is on the department's list of approved agencies to access Auburn's Flock cameras. What do you worry this information is being used for?
I worry it's being used for civil immigration enforcement. I worry that it could be used to just round up people where there's no criminal case whatsoever, and that's a violation of our state law.
Angelina Godoy is director of the University of Washington Center for Human Rights. Her research team just released this report that uncovered thousands of searches by U.S. Border Patrol, according to records from 31 Washington police agencies.
It was actually widespread across our state.
In a statement, Auburn PD says it's still working to determine how Border Patrol was able to gain access to its flock system. And following the new awareness from the UW report, we've begun running monthly reports to identify and revoke access for agencies using it for immigration purposes. Even agencies that didn't approve flock access to immigration agents are learning they too supplied vehicle data to the feds.
That's very concerning. I can't say enough appreciation for the University of Washington for sharing this information with us.
Renton's police chief just learned that immigration agents have been accessing data from Renton's 24 flock cameras through what researchers call side door access. In that scenario, other agencies like Michigan State Police and Florida Highway Patrol accessed Renton's system and thousands of others on behalf of Border Patrol and ICE.
ICE and the Border Patrol and other federal agencies have been accessing your data.
That would be absolutely unauthorized on our end. We did not give permissions for any federal agencies to be able to have access into our system.
What are you doing in light of this landing on your desk?
We restricted access for all other agencies, outside agencies, to have access into our network to be able to view any of our flock until we're able to ascertain how that breach was done.
That DOL official was wrong.
The University of Washington's disclosures follow a King 5 investigation in July that revealed the Washington Department of Licensing unknowingly shared licensing data with immigration authorities. That violates the 2019 Keep Washington Working Act.
Local law enforcement agencies in our state are prohibited by state law from using state resources to collaborate with civil immigration enforcement.
The University of Washington says many of the data releases may be unintentional, but not always. In southwest Washington and Klickitat County, the sheriff's office has been seeking to install flock cameras.
Our country has absolutely been invaded.
Sheriff Bob Songer is already on record in full support of the immigration crackdown.
I want to send a message to the ICE. If you need any help at all, put me on speed dial.
Here at the University of Washington, researchers say they'll be following up on this report in the coming months to see if police departments have secured their flock systems and are following Washington law. In Seattle, Chris Ingles, King 5 News.
With temperatures now getting close to freezing at night, it's time to start winterizing our homes, but we should also look at winterizing our yards. It's not for us, but for all the other creatures critical to our planet. Meteorologist Keely Chalmers explains in Denver.
It's that time of year when we turn up the thermostat and seal up our homes. But as we prepare our own shelters for the winter, we should think about keeping those shelters outside for those tiny creatures that are responsible for a lot of our food. We're talking about pollinators.
They support our food production, they support materials production, and they support the biodiversity of our planet as a whole.
According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the value of crop pollination in the U.S. alone has been estimated in the billions of dollars annually.
Our pollinators are incredibly important.
Ashley White is Community Habitats Manager at Butterfly Pavilion in Westminster. Her mission this fall? To get folks to leave their yards and gardens messy.
People tend to think that our pollinators die off or they all head out for the winter, but in fact, majority of them are staying right here with us in our gardens and in our outdoor spaces.
The problem, as our climate changes, the habitat for pollinators is also changing and in some cases disappearing.
So habitat loss is definitely being affected by climate, by weather changes, by temperature changes. The regimes that our plants are used to seeing historically are now changing.
Research has shown up to 40% of pollinator species on Earth may be at risk of extinction in the coming years as a result of habitat loss, the use of harmful pesticides, and climate change. And we're not talking just about bees.
But there's actually so many other pollinating creatures out there, including beetles, butterflies, moths, flies, actually.
So what specifically should we do to help these critical creatures?
A lot of people want to kind of sterilize their gardens in winter. They want to cut back everything, they want to clean it all up, but that's kind of the worst thing that we can do for our pollinators.
Instead, leave things alone. Leave those stems and leaf litter to give those tiny creatures places to hide and shelter so they can make it to spring. When you think about it, it's an excuse to not clean. A winter pass of sorts that will protect our pollinators.
If you're making plans for your yard for next spring, White recommends ditching the nice manicured grass lawn for some gardens. Turf lawns don't provide very good habitat for pollinators. Instead, think flower gardens. And if you still want that grass lawn, think about dedicating some of your yard for garden use. We'll be right back. Not having enough food to eat is a problem in many communities. In Tillamook County, Oregon, there's a unique solution that teams and local volunteers are working on in the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife and the bounty of fall salmon. Grant McComey has the story.
For many, here's the best way to start a fall day. A gorgeous coho salmon.
That is a nice one.
Lucky anglers certainly enjoyed this time of year. We can enjoy the view, too, at places where salmon leap for their lives. Thousands of migrating salmon return to home waters after years at sea. They come back to spawn in the gravel or at hatcheries like the North Fork Nehalem, where the fish started life here 4 years ago. Today, volunteers are working the trap in a unique project that shares the bounty.
We're sorting the fish for the food bank and then for stream enrichment.
Food bank female.
So these are the hatchery fish that have come back up the river.
North Fork Nehalem is a state-operated site that produces thousands of salmon each year. While a part of the fall migration provides the future generation, the extras are used for something else, something good.
Food bank female. We don't regularly get enough fish here to sell carcasses. Some hatcheries will do that and sell carcasses, but we don't get enough here to do that, so they'll go to local food banks.
Volunteers called the Smiley Brothers and Sisters started the Food Bank Salmon program in 2009. They look forward to this event each fall.
It's doing something for others, and that is the most wonderful thing you can possibly do.
Well, it does put a smile on your face. It's such a great group of people, volunteers and donors, with the high school kids designing the labels. It's a really cool community process.
He's right. Local high school kids also lend a hand.
We don't need to see the whole fish. Bingo.
Neoconi High School students design the labels that'll go on thousands of canned salmon.
I like the way those fish are moving there.
Teacher Steve Albrechtson says in Tillamook County, up to 60% of school enrollment is on free or reduced lunches. So, designing a food product that helps their neighbors is an important and creative tie for young people.
With the season that we're in now, the Thanksgiving and the Christmas season, and that aspect of giving, it really kind of sinks in the giving nature because they are giving back into their community, and
in a big way.
In a big way.
The students spent 3 weeks on the label design project. During that time, the surplus salmon makes the rounds. First to a Garibaldi processor called Fish People, where thousands of salmon are cleaned and filleted at cost.
We use everything here. I'll sell the carcasses to people that are crabbing. The scraps and skin and all that will go to a farmer, and he mixes it into his compost pile. And all the money we get from the eggs will go back to the program. So we try not to waste anything here.
Then it's on to Bell Buoy Seafood in Seaside for cutting, trimming, and weighing each half-pound can. Again, at cost.
This is an old canning machine. It's from about the 1930s. The technology is largely unchanged. It's really neat to be able to take a local product on a large scale and then return it back into the community. There's just really no other projects like that.
Back at Neoconi High School, that much is certain.
So we're just going to take a little glue on that glue here part. You're going to wrap it around there. Your goal here is to try to make it as tight as possible here, and then you're off with can number 1, and you have 500 to go.
Hundreds of canned fish, not for sale, but given away at each of the 15 county food banks. The salmon provide critical protein for people who don't have enough to eat, and it's a uniquely Oregon expression of neighbors helping neighbors.
It's amazing to be able to take our fish from our river to feed our local communities. It's just totally full circle as far as what it's all about.
In Tillamook County with photographer Jeff Kastner, Grant McComey, KGW.
Two really important things to know for this weekend ahead of us. One, you're going to need to be weather aware. Be aware of the situation because it could change at any moment, and be very flexible with your plans because we're watching this system as it's moving closer to the Pacific Northwest right now. It's expected to leave impacts Saturday and Sunday. The system is likely going to tap into an atmospheric river, which could bring us heavy valley rain, possibly some really heavy mountain snow as well. There's a couple cold fronts that will be associated with this system, so it's going to cool us down and create some breezy conditions, which we've already seen some of those winds pick up today. As a reminder, we've already surpassed our monthly average of rain for Boise, significantly past it. We've almost reached 1.5 inches of rain. Usually for the entire month, we're less than an inch, and we're expecting to get some more measurable rain this weekend. In 24 hours or so from now, Boise could see another 1/4 inch of precipitation. Then by Sunday, those numbers could increase, maybe even getting close to 1/2 inch. Now, the mountains are measuring their precipitation in the form of water. So if this translates to snow, which it would at 32 degrees, then we could be seeing multiple inches of snow in the higher elevations. Places like Stanley and McCall could see 4 to 6 inches. Once we get above 6,500 feet in elevation, those are the places that could potentially be seeing a foot of fresh snow by the end of the weekend. Now, National Weather Service has issued a few watches and warnings in place because of the ever-changing conditions this weekend. So there's a lot to be mindful of. In the central mountains, it's a winter weather advisory. Because of the heavy snow and the winds, travel could be very difficult. We could also see visibility reduced to pretty poor levels, so driving conditions could be very hazardous. Meanwhile, in southwest Idaho, there is a wind advisory Saturday, southeast Oregon and eastern Oregon as well, because sustained winds could be 30 miles per hour. Those are those constant winds blowing, but gusts could reach 50 miles per hour. So secure those loose objects, make sure you don't have any loose tree limbs, and there could be some power outages that occur from those winds as well. As for storms, we do have a chance at seeing isolated thunderstorms. For western Idaho, places like McCall, Boise, Treasure Valley, there's a level 1 risk of those storms turning severe. So there's 3 criteria here for storms to be considered severe. That could be hail, really strong winds up to 58 mile per hour gusts, or possibly even a tornado. Just one of those factors is required for a storm to be considered severe. So tomorrow morning, you'll wake up to wet roads early in the day. We're expecting 2 separate cold fronts to come through. So a first push in the beginning of the day, a push later on in the afternoon. That means 2 separate bursts of cold air and heavy hitting showers will roll through the Treasure Valley and southwest Idaho altogether. First alert conditions last through Sunday. We could see showers linger through the first part of Monday as well, so could impact your commutes all the way through the beginning of next week. Tuesday, we start to dry out.
All right, feeling fall. Hey, if you currently get Social Security payments, good news, you're getting a raise next year. And if you've got unused prescriptions in the Treasure Valley and you need to get rid of them, National Drug Take Back Day is tomorrow. Tracy Bringhurst has today's 411 on the 208.
Social Security benefits are going up next year. People collecting benefits in 2026 will get 2.8% more per month. Next year's increase is higher than the 2.5% cost of living adjustment that beneficiaries got this year. The annual adjustment is based on inflation, which has eased after hitting a roughly 4-decade high in 2022. This Saturday, police and community partners across the Treasure Valley are teaming up for National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day. In Boise, you can drive through City Hall West from 10 to 2 p.m. In Meridian, Republic Services is hosting a drop-off on Franklin Road. And in Caldwell, West Valley Medical Center is partnering with police for its Crush the Crisis event. It's free, anonymous, and helps keep dangerous medications out of the wrong hands and out of our water. Boise State football is on the road tonight. The Broncos face off against the University of Nevada in Reno. Ahead of the game, our sports crew will show you what to expect on the field. You can watch our Bronco Game Day Roundup show today at 6 o'clock right here on Channel 7 and on KTVB+. The game kicks off at 8 o'clock tonight. And the Idaho Steelheads kick off their 2025-2026 season tonight. They face off against the Utah Grizzlies at Idaho Central Arena. The puck drops at 7:10 p.m. KTVB is broadcasting the Steelhead home games this season, so you can catch all of the action on Channel 7.2. And that's the 411 on the 208. I'm Tracy Bringhurst.
All right, comments to end the week on the 208. Craig writes, seems like more of the stories are not based on Idaho and from our sister station, What's Up. On Fridays, we go beyond the 208 to give you the best reporting in our region, gives you a comprehensive look at the West and the implications that some of our neighboring states are dealing with. So a good observation, and we keep it special here on Friday. Susan had a great compliment about helping the food bank in Washington. If you can help, there's times are tough. So we got to get together as a community and help those in need. All right, see you next week.
Continue with us and watch free now on the KTVB Plus app everywhere you stream.